White America knows there's a problem, and black people should be able to exist in public spaces without having the police called. We've seen enough black people killed on camera by the police to know that introducing the police in an incident where black people are not doing anything wrong is actually dangerous. We could be killed in that circumstance.
All lies. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have $9 t-shirts and $14 hoodies. When we sell out, we sell out. We're never bringing the products back. Also, my book is available, signed copy and non-signed copy. If you put discount code ADAM2024, you'll get 20% off everything else on the store. All of our new products. Father's Matter is one of my favorite. The Don is a favorite of mine as well. You can click here and expand it and see all of our best sellers. And all of these shirts here are coming soon. So if you're looking for some of the merch that's coming soon, click on it now. We got exclusive discounts for first responders. You can click that at the top of the website. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, also we over 2 million subscribers. Round of applause for you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. And also, I'll put a link to the movie Uncle Tom 2 because it's right down the alley of what I'm going to talk about. Uncle Tom 2, hit the link in the description section to pre-order today. Use discount code Tatum, get 30% off. All right, let's talk about this real quick. There's a clip that somebody sent me, and this black lady is talking about her experiences with law enforcement. Now, I am convinced, overwhelmingly so, that this is a perfect example of brainwashing. This is a perfect example of being raised under the guise of falsehood and then applying that to your life, and you live a life that's not fulfilled because your whole life you've been taught a complete lie, and then you go on and you become an adult like this young lady, and then you spew the lie to the rest of your peers and to generations to come, and then we have a whole generation of people who are lackluster in the mind. Let me let you listen to what she said, and let me let you hear what she had to say about policing, and I'm going to tell you unequivocally that she's 100% lying.
Liar, liar, your pants are on fire!
Roll the clip.
I'm not breaking the law, but when I see a police officer, there's a stiffness in my spine because I know that it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter that I work for Hillary Clinton or that I sit on MSNBC and talk about politics. I'm a black person when the police arrive, and so I could be treated that way. And I think that's something that largely white America doesn't understand. We're looking at this incident by incident, and we're analyzing the specific facts in each incident, but it's a systemic problem. It's about racism. And I think that, there's a famous academic that asked a group of white students, would you like to be treated the way that we treat black people? Raise your hand. Nobody raises their hand. So we know there's a problem. Yeah. White America knows there's a problem, and black people should be able to exist in public spaces without having the police called. We've seen enough black people killed on camera by the police to know that introducing the police in an incident where black people are not doing anything wrong is actually dangerous. We could be killed in that circumstance.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No boys.
All right, Miss Liar, liar, pants on fire. Just completely made up a continuation of falsehoods that is the contributing factor to why young black men are getting into negative situations with police. If you look at, when is the last time you seen a woman getting abused by the police on one of these major incidents? So what the police just pick on black men, or what? Like make that make sense? No, it's because women are not involved in committing crimes like men are. So you rarely see women that end up like George Floyd versus you seeing men. So are they sexist? No, it's behavioral issues that lead to some of these fact patterns. When you're driving down the street, and I am a former police officer. I don't want an ugly head on here longer. I'm a former police officer. When you're driving down the street as a police officer, I can attest to it. I put the uniform on. Nobody cares about your race. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And what they conflate is that they look at black communities, right? And then they go, oh, the cops are... They can't pull nobody else over but black people because there's nothing but black people that live in the community. What are you even saying? Cops don't get hired and they say, you know what, we can patrol the whole city, but we just want to stick around in a black neighborhood. That is a myth. Police officers are assigned by districts, and there's a district on the south side of Chicago that only those cops there can patrol that area. And since there's not enough black people applying to be police officers, then you leave it up to the white man to patrol your community. And then she goes on to talk about the famous scholar that said, everybody raise your hand in the classroom if you are you don't want to be treated like black people do. Let me explain that scenario. The professor, who's a complete idiot if you ask me, the professor asked a leading question or a biased question. She made the claim that nobody wants to be treated like black people because black people are treated like scum of the earth. And then she asked the question, raise your hand if you want to be treated like that. Nobody's going to raise their hand and get into an argument with the professor. They're just not going to raise their hand because they see where she's going with the point. It's called manipulation, and it's called lack of context. There is no way in the world that white people are saying, I don't want to be treated like LeBron James. The most celebrated people in our society are black people. The most celebrated people. People can walk down the street and they can see Mark Zuckerberg and they will not know what he looked like. People can walk down the street and see Jeff Bezos and they wouldn't even know what Jeff Bezos looked like. They will walk past Jeff Bezos. But you can have a wide receiver in the NFL that people will literally pass out in the street and cry just to touch his hand. Rihanna is one of the richest women in the world. She's black. And people would cry and pass out and give their children up for sale to see Rihanna in concert one time. Michael Jordan. I mean, you talk about the celebrity types of Denzel Washington. Michael Jackson. Women used to pass out at Michael Jackson's concerts. You say, oh, white people don't want to be treated like black. What black people are you talking about? Now let's talk about it like this. Where in the world or in the country are you seeing black people being treated poorly? Because if you look at the demographic and the way people are arranged in this country, black people tend to live around other black people, and white people tend to live around most white people. When you go to the south side of Chicago, go to any of these black neighborhoods, you don't see white people. So when black people are being mistreated in the black neighborhood, they're being mistreated by other black people. But they don't want to, this woman and the others don't want to talk about that. When black people are being murdered, they're not being murdered by police officers. They're being murdered by other black people. And in the case in which black people are getting killed by police officers, she said it at the end of the clip, and she lied right through her teeth. She said that when you introduce police in a situation where black people ain't doing nothing, we can end up dying. Show me an example. Show me an example where you introduce a police officer in any of these mainstream situations that they talk about where a black man was doing nothing. You talking about Michael Brown? He was doing nothing. Jacob Blake, Eric Garner, they were doing nothing. Breonna Taylor, they were doing nothing. A cop got shot in Breonna Taylor case. That's why they returned fire. He was doing nothing. You telling me George Floyd, I believe it was unjustified at what happened to him, but then he wasn't just doing nothing. They were called because he committed a crime. I have never been killed by a police officer. I haven't even been pulled over since I've been in Arizona, or at least in Phoenix Valley, since 2017. And I cannot confirm or deny I go the speed limit. But even if I do get pulled over, nobody's going to shoot and kill me. Why, Brandon? Because I'm not going to do nothing they ain't asked me to do. I'm going to have my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm going to talk to the cop like even if I don't like what he said, I'm going to listen to what he got to say. And I guarantee you I can put my life on it that nobody's going to shoot and kill me. And if they do, I'm an unlucky person because I had it's less likely to happen than getting struck by lightning 3 times in a row. That a cop just pulled me over and shoot me and I did nothing wrong. And I follow all of his instructions, just shoot me. It's not going to happen. These people are hypnotized with lies and they push it to other black and brown people. And then they guilt white people because white people don't know what it's like. These people are lying. I never drive down the street and be like, oh man, I'm afraid of a cop. What about when you live in Philly? Half of the police department is black. What about when you live in Atlanta? Almost half of the police department is black. What are you talking about? And then if you look at any of the statistical data, more white people, twice as many white people are shot unarmed by police than black people. If you look at the total number, it's twice as many white people shot in general as opposed to black people. And black people are patrolled at a higher density than white people are. And when you factor in the facts and principles, white people should actually be getting shot, or black people should actually be getting shot more than they do. If you look at the saturation of policing, that means that white people are getting shot disproportionately based on the policing saturation. But nobody's going to talk about that. Have you ever heard of a situation or saw a video camera of a white person getting shot unarmed? And they won't talk about it. It happens way more than black people do, but they won't talk about it. Have you ever seen George Floyd? Tony Temple was treated, I wrote it in my book. Tony Temple was treated worse than George Floyd. He was killed. They mocked him. You ain't never going to hear about Tony Temple because he's not black. Quit lying to the people. Black people are not treated poorly in this country, generally speaking. It's because we make poor decisions. We walk around thinking like this. And therefore, when the cop pull you over, now you got an attitude. Now why you pull me over? You doing all this extra stuff. When I was a cop, man, nobody care about your color. Nobody care. You got a gun or you don't have a gun. Cops know that your color don't kill you. A gun does. Ain't nobody care if you're a man or a woman. We want to live. Ain't nobody got time to be worried about because you black. And this woman don't even look. If she was getting pulled over, based on the way she looked, she don't look intimidating. She don't look frightening. She don't look like she's going to do anything. Now, if she had tats all over her face, I can see how people may perceive that she would. But a cop pull her over. Ma'am, can you show me your identification? Yes, sir. She probably will never. This woman probably had never gotten a ticket before. She probably never gotten a ticket before. Half of the people who are complaining have never gotten a ticket before. It's lies, ladies and gentlemen. Young people don't buy the lies. These people get on TV and they push an agenda. You know and I know that there's no legitimate reason why you should be afraid of police getting pulled over unless you're committing crimes. And if you're not committing crimes, then there's no issue. And if you really think the police officers are doing that bad, you apply to be a cop and patrol your own community. It's that simple. You look at some of these major police departments, they're run by black men all over the country. Major police departments are run by black men. And then, they say what they're going to say and they make up lies. I just can't stand it. As a former police officer, I can say unequivocally, she's full of crap. We got way too much stuff to worry about in policing than worrying about somebody's skin color. And in a neighborhood where it's saturated with black people, there ain't nobody else to pull over. So how do you explain that I pulled you over, but I let 6,000 other black people drive past me? It ain't like the white people and black people living in the same area and we just pulling over black people. No, it's because we're in a certain area that's high crime and high violence. You just so happen to be an innocent bystander in the middle of a crime-ridden area that necessitate a saturation of policing. And if the police didn't, half of the community would be dead and robbed. Okay. I think I've said enough. I'll see you later. Go to the Alpha Tatum store and also look at Uncle Tom 2. Pre-order. Link is in the description. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.